Hi, I am Andi the Knittress, and this is my corner of the internet where I like to share everything that I do with yarn. And we are literally in my corner where I work with yarn. My life is kind of turned upside down as of recently. I used to work at my local yarn store, and we closed in April 2nd. So I'm kind of going through some stuff, if I'm honest with everyone. But it's gonna be all right. I am starting my own business. My goal is to start my own brick and mortar local yarn store here in the town that I live in Roseburg, Oregon. Not having ever run a business before, it's a lot to learn and to take in and to absorb. I can sell yarn to anybody. I could teach anybody how to knit or crochet or get started with weaving or spinning. But to start a business is a whole nother thing to learn, and I am slowly taking my steps to achieve that. My yarn store will be called The Naughty Knittress, and it would say it right here. Had I had any more letters that I could put it in. I've ordered some more letters so that I can have my sign read properly, but I used all my T's and apparently all my K's up here and there. So, but it's thenaughtyknittress.com, because I am Andi the Knittress, and I used to work at Naughty Lady Yarn. So I am a naughty lady. So I am the Naughty Knittress. So that's where that has come from. I have been blessed with a lovely gal that I used to work with, and her name was Sam, and she does graphic design, and she helped me to design my logo. I'm so happy with it. I just love it. It's got all those vibes that I like. It's got my favorite colors on there, you know, the basically Halloween. So I'm just slowly learning things. Right now, if you're to visit my website, you'll probably find just a few things that I've made on my circular sock machine, and some charms and some stitch markers. I'm in the process of contacting yarn companies so that I can have some yarn stock. But in the meantime, if you would love to support me, please share my social media with people. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as The Naughty Knittress. And check out my website. Sign up for, I'll be doing a newsletter, hopefully monthly. Right now there's a little blog on there. You can go take a read. This channel here, I've always, said didn't have anything really to sell. It was just for me to share my love of yarn and fiber. And, when I started, I wasn't even working at my local yarn store. I was just a patron. And then I was blessed to have been able to work there for 2 amazing years with some amazing coworkers, and it taught me a lot, and it gave me confidence in my ability to teach people about yarn and all of the things that I know about yarn. And I just have an extreme passion to share that with everybody. It just makes my heart smile when I can teach somebody how to read their work and they absorb that information, and it just gives me such, I don't know, it just brings light to me to be able to share that with people. So I have to do it. So I hope that you all will follow me on this new journey to that. But in the meantime, I still will come on and I'll share what I'm working on, and you know, what things have inspired me, and I'm just looking at all the stuff I have here. Yeah, so I hope that you all will stick with me, and then maybe we'll get some more people along the way. Well, let's jump into finished objects. I finished this sweater that I'm wearing. I don't know the last time that I showed it. This sweater is called the Hearth Sweater. It is by Danae Smith of Ottercraft, and it is a sweater that I test knit in 2019. I do not believe that the pattern has been released. I know that she had a baby recently, so that kind of played into why the pattern was never released. I did make, this is the one that I made here. And so it's got these lovely flame flickers is what these are supposed to be on the back of this cardigan. The amazing thing about this cardigan is that you work your neck band, the button band, throughout the sweater, so there's no going back and picking up all of those stitches. It's got a lovely like broken rib along the cuffs and the button band, as well as the back. Some things about this sweater I didn't love the first time I knit it. And now I was test knitting, and so I followed the instructions, and you kind of start here, and then you cast on this way a little, and then you go that way, and then you pick up the back of the stitches. Well, the dimensions that I was to cast on for this, it's basically from this point here to this point here around the back of the neck. It was too long for the way, for my body. I don't know if it would work for other people that are my size, but the way that my shoulders are shaped, I figured out I need to have a shorter distance. I want to say the pattern told me to cast on something in the teens. I don't remember if it was 14 or if it was 18. It probably wasn't 18, but it was a big number, and it was from here to there. And that, when I wear this one, it kind of falls open off my shoulders. So I decided that I love this sweater so much. And now I made this one out of Lion Brand jeans, and this is the color Top Stitch. And I love this sweater. It's a really good sweater. I can throw it in the washer. But it doesn't breathe because it's acrylic. It does not, it's not heat regulating. So I get really hot sometimes when I wear this, even though it's got the little vents in the back. I just get really warm. So I decided that I wanted to remake it, and I used the Primrose Roan DK, and this is a superwash and a non-superwash. Now that pattern is written for worsted, so I did the math and I made the DK work for me, because I really fell in love with this yarn because it's just extremely bouncy. It's a good yarn. It's a 3-ply. There's a 60% superwash and 40% non-superwash. So I just really fell in love with this yarn and this color. It's called Gimlet, and I'm pretty sure, at least from what I'm seeing on my screen here, this color is showing up true to what it is. So I cast on a smaller number. I cast on, I want to say, about 11 inches. and then I squeezed the number of stitches that I needed to then pick up in that 11 inches. So that way I could have this sweater fit me snugly along my shoulders. Now, I haven't blocked it yet because I finished it and I have just been trying to enjoy every last minute that I could wearing it while it's still chilly here in Oregon in the mornings and such. Let me take it off here because I'm in a small little corner, so I'm not gonna be able to stand up and show you. Maybe I'll put in some pictures so that I can show you kind of what it looks like on the back. But there's my lovely details there, and I did an afterthought pocket on this. So I did just like when you do for an afterthought heel. I picked up the stitches up here and then down here and unraveled them, and then I basically knit just like a tube. Now I purled the front half of the stitches. I purled this, I picked up 50 stitches. So these 25 were knit and then these were purled just so that it would kind of curl in and just sit nicely. And it's a really nice pocket. And then the buttons, funny enough, I hadn't planned on using these buttons. I had another button picked out that was similar to the ones I used on this other sweater. I had like a coconut button with enamel or resin. I had picked out like, oops, knocked the camera. I had picked out like an aqua color just to contrast with that. Can't find them anywhere. So I got these ones from Joann Fabrics, and they just have like 9 little holes, and I used the contrasting yarn that I used for the pockets to sew them on. And I really like them. I think they fit it well, and I made this a little longer than was recommended. I think I ended up using about 11 skeins. I'm a big girl. It takes a lot of yarn for me to make a sweater, and this comes down over my rear end, so it's a super cozy sweater, and I love it. And I have honestly just been wearing it since I finished it until it's too hot here, and then I'll block it. Yeah, so that is something that I have finished, and I think I cast this sweater on last year in April, if I remember correctly. So it just sat on the back burner for the longest time, and I'm just really happy to have finished it. I was in a funk there for a little while where I wasn't working on anything. Life happens. It gets in the way sometimes, and it just does. I've been depressed, if I'm honest. It's been really hard to have to start all over. I don't put myself out there like this because it's just not something I do. I'm there for other people. I'm not necessarily let other people be there for me, just a few. I had a home at my job. I felt like I finally belonged somewhere. And to have that ripped away from me. It was bound to make me feel sad. It was bound to trigger my depression tendencies. It's probably completely normal, and it's okay for me to be sad about it. Yeah. So I didn't work on lots of things, and I worked on some things. I cast on new things because it would bring me fleeting joy, and that's what I would do. So I have probably about, I don't know, at least 20 whips right now that I want to get all of them done. But I finished this. It was a good thing for me to have off of my needles. I might not even leave this in there. Anyway, let's see. I have most of the things that I've been working on have been for my new shop. I do have one whip that I cast on as soon as I had finished this sweater, and I cast on the penguono because I have wanted to make a penguono for quite a while, and I just never did. And I was scrolling through my projects on Ravelry because when I finished this, I was feeling like, okay, what am I going to work on next? All of my projects, they are in bags, and most of them are out of sight, so they don't get worked on. Only the ones that sit out get worked on. And I don't have the space for them all to sit out, so they get worked on here and there. And so I was scrolling through my projects on Ravelry, and there was one that I had cast on that I decided that I didn't want to do, and so I frogged it, and I took that yarn and I cast on for the penguono. And the yarn that I have is this gorgeous, I mean, is it me? It's me. This is Mushishi. Let's see. Do I have one? Yes, this is, oh, it's color number 28. How did I not know? But this is a big, giant yarn baby. I want to say there's like 250 grams per skein of this. And so this, and the other yarn that I'm going to be using with it is this. I have it in a big giant ball sock right now to keep it managed because I frogged the other project. So this is Gomitolo Degradé 200, so 200 grams there. And this is a lovely orange. And I am holding it together sometimes with some lovely green mohair that I was gifted by one of my former customers from Naughty Lady Yarns. And I have this all living in my big giant Beetlejuice bag. This is by Lila Stiles. She made this bag for me because she's awesome. I asked her one time if she made big giant sweater bags because I'm a big girl. I need lots of yarn for my sweaters. So that is living in this bag, and it's awesome. And there's some pockets in here. I just love this bag. So let's show you kind of what it looks like now. Stephen West, he's a genius, right? He writes really great patterns, and he always has, like, at least from my experience, like a great sleevage edge for you to be able to pick up your stitches from later. So there's going to be no doubt in my mind as to where I'm going to need to pick up the stitches, because the Penguono is knit in pieces. It's knit in flat pieces, and then you pick up here and you pick up there and you do some cool stuff. And he's always like, just throw in whatever, change up your color, change up your texture, change up whatever. He's just like, do you. Have fun. So this is what I have so far. And I like to keep progress keepers on my projects all the time. Just help me keep track. I think I have to do this for like repeat the pattern for 60 some odd times or whatever, so it's like 120 some rows. So I just put markers on there every 10 rows. Plus I get to look at my little charms, and they make me happy to look at them as I go, and I get to use them up. So that's what I'm working on. So this, I'm holding that Mushishi with some green mohair, and that'll be the back panel of my Penguono. And it's just a really slow knit. And sometimes when I knit, I want the project and I want it now. Actually, that's most of the time when I'm knitting. I am usually a product knitter, not a process knitter. So, but this one I'm just really enjoying the process. It's just after I'm done working on my business at the end of the day, I just slow down and just knit. It's right now I think it's a seed stitch, and I'm just enjoying the time I get to spend on this. Some of those cute little stitch markers right there. These ones I made. I mean, I didn't make the actual mushroom, obviously. I got the pieces and I put them together. Little stone skull. They're going to be in my shop update, which is Saturday the 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific time. What are we in PDT right now? Yeah, that's kind of fun. I've got some other little things that are going to be in my shop, stitch marker and progress keeper wise. I'm a big progress keeper fan. Let's see. There we go. I like to keep track of my rows. I like to keep track of how much I've knit when I sat down. So sometimes I'll just put in a marker, and then I will mark it for how much knitting did I do on that in this day. Because sometimes I feel like I'm never getting anything done, and it's nice to see when you've done several rows whenever you sit down for a session. So that's a little gummy bear. Little gummy bear progress keeper. And I've got these cute little yarn balls. There's going to be a couple of different colors of those in my shop update. I feel like I'm all over the place today, but that's kind of what my emotions are like anyway here lately. But these are some stitch markers. I really like these square stitch markers. I feel like, especially if you have a project where you end up with yarn overs and it has to be next to the stitch marker, it's a little easier to keep them on one side. But I like these cute little, they're little like cracked glass beads. They remind me of dragon eggs for some reason. And just have like a set of 3 of those. That'll be in my shop update. I kind of just jumped right into what was in my shop because of the stitch markers on my whip. There's some coin purses, notion pouches in there. These just have the little, it's like the little, you know, you bend it and it opens up and you can put stuff in there. That's what I keep, like I have one that I made for myself. This is all my pens, all of my pens. It's just a little longer than the regular. Just a way to keep me organized. All the little stuff in my my bag or my purse or on my desk. There will be some ball socks, which are really nice. So you can have them. Now this is a partial skein, so it's not gonna show you, but it could fit a full 100-gram skein in there. And then I like to just fold my edge down while I'm using it. And if I've wound up like for 2 colors for something, the one will just be like that in there, so it's not getting all unruly by the yarn gremlins. So here's one that I made for myself, and this has a mostly full skein. The only thing I used out of this skein was for the pockets and to sew it in. And then as you knit and your skein grows smaller, it kind of, they're the same size, it kind of just shrinks it in and it goes back and keeps everything nice and tidy, and it doesn't, they don't come unraveled in your bag. I just really like them. Now, lots of people make them. You could totally make your own. Essentially mine are just a 1x1 rib, 72 stitches, 1x1 rib, and then down here you would on my machine, I take the ribber needles out and put them on the cylinder needles. But if you were hand knitting it, you would knit 2 together, so you would decrease your stitches by half and then just knit 5 rows and then cinch it together. So, but they're fun. They're a great way to use up your scrap fingering weight yarn and help keep your project bag ruly. And they will come, if you order one from me, they will come like this, you know, ball sock. And then you get this, can work as a bookmark. Reuse it. I've been using one of mine as a bookmark. But that's what I've been working on a lot lately, is my business. I just want to create I want to create a space like the one that I lost for my local community and for my online friends as well, like to just be able to get yarn or stitch markers or already made socks like these ones. This is awesome yarn that this was part of the SSSOSSK, Super Secret Society of Self-Striping Sock Knitters. Dang, I got it. From Teresa of Pretty Twisted Yarns. This is such a beautiful color. It's called Be a Frickin' Unicorn. And why not? If you can be a unicorn, be a unicorn. I knit this up on my Erlbacher, and I did the roll top sock because these are my favorite. They fit me the best. And speaking of roll top socks, I have a pair that is going to be in the shop, but this specific colorway, I would like to do a giveaway. I will post it on my business Instagram, which is the Andi the Knittress at Instagram, and I am going to let the winner get a pair of roll top socks in this rainbow yarn in their size. So I would just like you to go on over and and follow my new Instagram and share it with a couple of friends if you'd like. And you could win your very own pair of socks. These are my favorite, and hopefully they will be your favorite too. They just have a really nice fit. This pair I did on my Instagram live, and I did them in 2 different color lycras. And you can't really tell. I can in person with my naked eye. Maybe you can tell slightly here. If we look at this white section, this one I used silver lycra, and this one I used pink lycra. And you can see that there's just a hint of more pink there than here. But for the most part, they look identical, and I love them. And I haven't worn them yet because I was planning on filming, and I finally got around to it. So that's that. So yes, go on over to the AnditheKnittress on Instagram and follow and then like the post. I will post a picture of these socks and list all the details for the giveaway. And I hope that everybody follows me in this journey. It's a crazy roller coaster to become an entrepreneur. I never think I would be a business owner, but I am slowly working towards it. Little steps, lots and lots of little steps, but every little step that I take closer to that is just, it's just making me happy. It feels right. It feels like I'm going in the right direction. Let's see, do I have anything else? Oh, I did finish a pair of socks for myself. I tried out a new style, a new cast on my Erlbacher. It's a scalloped 3x1 rib. I haven't tried these on, so I don't know how they are going to wear, but if I look at the one and I look at the other, this one for some reason is like super flared. I don't know if I had different tension on that one or what, but it's pretty flared. It looks interesting on the inside. I bet they're really cute if I were to fold them down. Maybe after it's been washed it won't be so like ruffly and you'll actually get to see the cute little scallops. So yeah, I've made those. There's gonna be lots of socks. Not lots. I mean, there's a few socks in my shop update. Lots of charms, progress keepers, and stitch markers. And there's also a listing for if you want to turn your sock yarn into socks. I am happy to make you a pair of socks. There's a few different options. The roll top is one of the options. There's heel tab, ankle, shorty, and then what I have been calling equal distance, which is basically the length of your foot is the same distance that your cuff is. So equal distance socks. So these ones, see, these would not be equal distance. This cuff would go down to here. But there are pictures and size options. So if that's something that you would like some of your sock yarn that's sitting in your stash turned into socks, I am happy to do it for you. I don't have much else. Sorry to put that all on your plates, but it's the real me right now. That's what's come out today. I'm not always happy, peppy, cheery Andi. I have, hard emotions too. And it's okay to share them with other people. It's okay to let other people see that, because we are all human, having a human experience on this spinning rock in the universe. So take it one stitch at a time, because that's all that you can do.